If you have been following my Wrangler build from the start, you may remember that the Falcon 3.3 bypass shocks don't fit the Ecodiesel due to the location of the secondary battery box. After a year of being patient, we have a solution. The new and improved diesel stubby reservoir. Same thickness?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so you got some right here. So.
I'm gonna say it's the same, like literally.
So some people are asking, but it is shorter. You guys can see there just how much shorter they've shortened the reservoir compared to the previous.
2 inches.
So solid, yeah, 2 inches off of there. And that is going to allow our reservoir to clear our battery box on the passenger side. So this is what we have. This is what we have in the front now, because we just put monotube 2.1s in when we realized the 3.3s wouldn't fit with their reservoir last year, because we've been running them for almost a year now. Because we originally tried to put these guys in here, the 3.3s with the original reservoir, but now they've lopped off 2 inches. You are super
Hope she doesn't mind.
And I can't wait to try them out. No, this isn't the only suspension improvement that I've been kind of teasing you guys with. We've got something else hiding out in the shop here, so let's go find it.
Off in the corner.
The tiny little box that's gonna make the biggest difference here.
They even sent you a beer cozy.
Ooh, fancy. Or a sparkling water koozie. Full boxes here from Clayton Offroad. I found out that Clayton actually has a set of springs. Actually, they have a couple different sets depending on whether you want regular or overland springs, but they have spec'd out a set of front and rear springs for the Ecodiesel for overlanding with lots of load. So the JL has, I think, less lift on it than I had from factory when we tried it with the 37s right now, because it's just so overloaded with all the gear, the rooftop tent, the rack, everything else. We needed to get some new springs. We're gonna try these out. Clayton said it should make a difference for sure, but they don't know exactly how much my Jeep weighs. So we're gonna fire them in. Hopefully we don't need to have any additional spacers put in there. And we're gonna fire in those new shocks and just see what we get out of it. We're supposed to wash our Jeep? What are you saying?
Yes. A clean Jeep is a happy Jeep. Doesn't break down as much. That's why you've been at the dealership lately.
Oh, we're still trying to get that check engine light fixed. So what's going on there?
There seems to be a disconnect in the rear sway bar. This probably helps with articulation when it's Save on Foods.
I wonder. It's Costco, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't buy that much food at a time.
Yeah, you got to get with the overlanding terminology.
I may look like I eat a lot, but I'm mostly vegan.
So apparently, and I don't know for how long, we've been missing a sway bar bolt, which would explain why the Jeep feels a little sloppy sometimes on the highway.
It's kind of an all-the-time situation. It's not.
I might have had the traction control light come on in a corner on the highway on the way over here. Out with the old. So with the other 3.3s with the longer reservoir, you have to cut the inner fender liner, right?
Yes.
So the question is, without 2 inches on this, do we need to cut this?
I don't know if this shock's actually going to penetrate the inner fender. It might be too short. I got no laughs at all out of that. Well, see, it's like bringing this in. See, if I cut it at least.
Let's cut it. I feel like you'll feel better if we cut it.
I always feel better when we cut it.
Let's cut it. So these are the templates from the 3.3s.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do, you see it's gonna touch there. I'll take this out.
Make it just a little bit smaller.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
Custom 3.3s. Got the Ginger customized 3.3 fender liners with the shorter reservoir. What is that?
That's an odd place to put your firewood.
I'll put it back.
Yeah, we can't have that come over here.
Did you put that there?
I just found it.
We can't let that come over here. It'll mess up our.
Oh, we don't want to bring any non-indigenous wood to the. This is probably from over here already.
That's how you smuggled it here. My God.
Don't worry, we'll burn that.
That's hilarious.
Like right there.
That's like just over quarter inch.
Wow. So this is the whole reason we've waited so long for these re-engineered 3.3 shocks with this shorter bypass. The lower battery tray, because if you don't know, these have two batteries. They have the start-stop battery below the main battery. And the lower battery tray interferes where you would normally have the bypass cut through the inner fender liner. And right here, there's what, like half an inch, not even?
Quarter inch.
Yeah, a quarter inch with this new shortened bypass, which is 2 inches shorter than the previous version of it. So we're just fitting it in there.
Yeah.
But that's basically what we've been waiting for right there.
That is definitely proper fitment.
I can just barely get my finger in there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I just put 7 pumps in it. Where is it coming out? Like, come on, where's
Just wait, you'll get hit in the face with water.
So the ginger has told me that I need to grease my drive shaft more often, and by more often, at all.
You just missed the joke there. The ginger told me I needed to lube my shaft a lot more often.
There's all kinds of great advice happening over here at Epic Adventure Outfitters.
Especially late night.
It's all Jeep related.
Yeah, get your minds out of the gutter, people.
Springs are in, shocks are in, tires are back on, and it's now dark out. And just like that, we're back home. I thought it would be better to wrap up this video talking about my experience with the suspension so far and what I thought of the new springs, how much more lift the Jeep got, and whether I noticed any difference with the new shocks. We went on an amazing 3-day trip through some of the mountains of British Columbia. Here's a quick preview of the awesome adventure we had before we go back to talking about Jeep suspension. So we have the Jeep Wrangler lifted now on the new Clayton Ecodiesel rated springs. I will put some part numbers down in the description of the springs that we used, but it's a 3.5 inch lift or 3.5 inch springs. They are rated for the Ecodiesel, which is like 400 or 450 pounds heavier in the front. And they're the Overland springs, so when we have all of our cargo, our fridge, our Pelican case with the kitchen in it, we've got the rooftop tent, the rack, everything, they're supposed to be rated for the additional load. What are my thoughts so far? It's a lot firmer, which is to be expected because we need a spring that can carry the additional weight of all our gear and the Ecodiesel. The Falcon 3.3 shocks have adjustable bypasses on them, so you can set them to varying degrees of firm or soft depending on how you prefer your ride. I'm keeping them set on the soft setting. It's definitely a lot better than continually hitting the bump stops on the front and the fender liners and the bump stops in the rear. However, I think the back is still sitting a little bit lower than where I would like it. So we're gonna take a look at a couple options. One is I might just add a 1.5 inch spacer. The other thing I'm considering is possibly putting some airbags in the back so that we can add some pressure to them when we load all the gear and we're not sitting with a big rake when it's empty. So stay tuned for some upcoming videos. We'll be throwing those in. I've never used airbags before, so it's not a high cost item. I think they're like 150 bucks. So we're gonna give them a try, and I'll let you guys know how that goes for me. But as for overall ride height, I think the front is definitely where we want it now. The front end came up about 1.5 inches from where we were before with the Teraflex 3.5-inch gas model springs. However, I also had 1.5-inch spacers in the front, so we got rid of the spacers now, riding just on springs, and it is higher. The back end came up about 1 inch or so, which I was looking for a little bit more. It sits about level right now, but when we get all of the gear, a couple 100 pounds more of gear in there, the back end is low. And one thing you notice is the headlights are shining up into the sky. I get a lot of high beams flashed at me, so I want to get the back end up a little bit more, maybe about 1 inch or so, and those airbags to be able to inflate when we put all the cargo in, so that we keep a nice level ride all the time. The other thing that we're going to be trying on the Jeep is we're going to try some geometry correction drop brackets on the front. Now, I've not really ever run those before, mostly because I want as much clearance as possible on the JK, which is hiding way up there in the bushes. But this being more of an overland build, I'm not so worried about losing the extra inch or two right there where the lower control arms connect up to the frame. But what it's going to do is it's going to change the handling characteristics and make it so that our control arms aren't on such a steep angle. What that does is it's going to improve your handling and ride quality, mostly on the highway, which we do spend a lot of time on the highway with the JL. So keep an eye out for that upcoming video. We're going to be back over at Epic adding a few more additions to the Jeep. But overall, it's really nice to get the Jeep to a proper lift height after waiting so long trying to figure things out, because a lot of companies have been really slow to release products specific to the Ecodiesel engine platform. Huge thanks to Christian and Paul over at Epic Adventure Outfitters. Let me know what you guys think of the suspension changes to the Jeep. Leave a like as always if you enjoyed this video. Don't miss the next couple uploads, so subscribe. I'll see you guys next week in the next upload.